Hey everybody, it's your hospitality friend Glenn here, and I just got off an airplane and came running here to the Harwood district in Dallas. Why? Because I'm so excited for a unique concept that's emerging from this fertile ground. All right, before we get doing, I want to thank our friends over at ZEL Capital Partners. You know them, the sale-leaseback guys. You want to monetize your land right now and turn it into the ability for you to get more investments. Check our friends at ZEL Capital Partners. You know them, zelcapitalpartners.com. I got with myself Matt Minichino. He is the COO of Harwood Hospitality Group. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
It's so great to see you here today. So, all right. So this is a really interesting story today for me, and I want to set it up for all of you folks out there. It's really fascinating how you're putting this whole thing together. A company that's creating, a 19 square block district, mixed use, offices, restaurants, a hotel. It's a real way that people want to kind of live and exist. So cool. Before we get into that, what attracted you to coming to this company?
You know, it really was the story of Harwood.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Dallas is always is a huge emerging market.
Right.
You know, and then when you really see the story of this Harwood International company, you know, in the verticals that exist and everything as a whole, right? It's just such an attractive thing to be a part of. And the amount of energy that goes into this company is so exciting.
Yeah.
And it just every day there's a new adventure.
Yeah. So what I think is really interesting is that usually when you have these kind of mixed use developments, there's a lot of different stakeholders involved. This is one single company. So you're able to have all these different divisions that kind of bring that vision to light. Now you're focused on the hospitality aspect of it, right? As opposed to the residential component and the office component, right? So what are you focused on here?
So
in hospitality?
So within the Harwood Hospitality Group, you know, we oversee, you know, the 15 restaurants in the Harwood district. We just opened our luxury boutique hotel, the Hotel Swexon, which has 4 other hospitality concepts inside it as well. You know, so I oversee that entire vertical and all those concepts. You know, and it's really such a crazy story when you think about it. You know, you kind of laugh because when you talk about, you know, real estate development, asset management, you know, luxury high-rise development,
right?
You know, hospitality, as I classify it, is I hate to say it, the good-looking redheaded stepchild.
Yeah,
because when you really think about the value of,
I got the stepchild part. Get it down.
When you think about the value of the other verticals, right? It's very hard for hospitality even to measure out. But when you really think about the things that really attract people, you know, hospitality really does help drive tenants into the buildings, visibility of the commercial real estate, you know, and really, you know, gives that, you know, appeal and, you know, that real shiny appeal to the building.
And that kind of goes back to the whole essence of how this all came to be, right? It started out as office towers and I think residential as well. And you need to have these amenities to keep people in the building happy, right? So it's almost kind of like a happy accident that this sort of thing came together.
You know, it's really crazy, the initial story that I heard when I got here, right? It was our first building, and it's our corporate office building. You know, there was 1,700 square feet of excess space.
Right.
And everyone...
I like to call it non-monetized.
Right? Yeah. And everyone was like, okay, well, what are we going to do with this space? And everyone was like, well, you can't do a restaurant. You can't do a restaurant. You can't do a restaurant.
Why?
And the number one recommendation that came across was put a Subway there.
A Subway.
And unfortunately, you know...
And you mean the restaurant, not a station for a non-existing system?
Unfortunately, our ownership, right? They have such a brand vision, you know, and brand integrity with regard to the Harwood district. They're like, well, if you look at Europe and you look at so many other parts of the world, you know, there's Michelin-starred restaurants that are 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet. I mean, to tell me we can't do that, and you know, so that 1,700 square foot space ended turning into Mercat Bistro, which is our French bistro. That is one of our most profitable restaurants. You know, it's one of our most bought out restaurants from a sales and catering standpoint. It's one of our most desirable restaurants from a brunch standpoint. It's this intimate high volume restaurant that, I mean, obviously you can only do so much volume in 100 seats.
Or no, obviously, but high volume in the context of those, you know, those 100 seats that you have there. So it sounds to me, you've got it figured out in the sense that you have the earlier day parts geared towards the work lifestyle, and then it kind of transitions to either after work meetings and then residence.
Well, the crazy thing about the Harwood district is we have offerings for
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a concept that and that's the hardest part, right? Because we're always
Right. For 15 restaurants, you got to figure out all these different concepts. And I know you have more coming soon as well.
just in the last 12 months, we've opened 4 hospitality concepts, a hotel with 4 more hospitality concepts in the last 12 months.
All right. So how are you thinking through what concepts for restaurants there should be versus what there shouldn't be? And how does that story come together?
So there's really a lot of collaboration against, all of our existing.
Yeah.
How do we not cannibalize?
Yeah.
What do we have that can attract visibility?
Because you don't need a pizza place here and a pizza place there. You need to have a wide panoply of cuisines and price points and types of energy levels.
And believe me, every development conversation, every development meeting we come in, the number one conversation is how do we not be cannibalistic?
Right.
How do we develop within our real estate, within our development, and still put forth new concepts that make people want to come here, introduce new people to want to come here and dine here. And it's really amazing because we have 5 different restaurants that are open for lunch, Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them, provide to the same tenant, because we have over 6,500 corporate tenants here in the Harwood district.
Mm-hmm.
So we have offerings to all of those tenants that we have enough that we can provide for those tenants. Then after 5 p.m., it's how we have so many different people. If you want to come for a Latin American concept, you want to come for a Pan-Asian concept, you want to come for our Tex-Mex cantina, if you want to come just to watch the football game in our All-American sports bar, we have our British pub.
Yep.
You pick it. If it's in your mind, it's like, hey, all of a sudden, I want to go to that. The only problem is sometimes it does become challenging to get people to want to make this a destinational place so many times during a week.
Right.
So that's the one you really have to fight through.
Right. And when you're fighting through that, then that means finding different ways to appeal to different customers. What I really like, I had a nice tour of this whole district. I love the Happiest Hour, right? Conveniently located by the
top 5 sports bars in the state of Texas.
Yep.
Exceeds $13 million annual. It does over 2 million visitors a year.
Wow.
And truthfully, at the end of the day, it really provides a concept for all experiences. I mean, we do corporate happy hours, we do bachelorette parties, we do birthday parties, we do date night. People come to watch, obviously, sports.
Yeah.
And then the best part is, you're steps away from American Airlines Center, which, obviously location does play a huge part into any hospitality concept. Being steps away from one of the top 5 most activated arenas in the country doesn't suck.
No, no, it doesn't.
Activated 200 plus times.
It doesn't. I saw the space. You've got a huge ground floor, great rooftop bar that's covered in the colder months, and then outside, tons and tons and tons of picnic tables.
Dallas loves outside.
Right, and really to create that beer garden type of vibe over there. So that place must be hopping on weekends. And even if there's nothing going on in American Airlines Arena, I could see everyone's coming down to support the football team.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
It really is crazy to see the visibility and also the visitation that venue gets. Not only that, but we maximize the use of all the land since we own the land.
Yeah.
Right. So the perfect example, one day about a month ago, we decide, hey, we're going to pop a big stage out on the lawn and we're going to book, Steve Aoki, one of the biggest DJs in the world. And we're going to do 6,000 people.
Right.
Right. Okay. But how many people have that flexibility? But because we are our own landlord, we are our own partner, we have that flexibility to do those amazing things and draw even more attention to the concept on top. So we always find new ways to attract new visibility to all of our concepts.
Yeah. So what are some of the concepts that you're thinking about right now that's really getting into that culinary zeitgeist?
Well, we only have so many concepts left that we can.
Oh, well, I know. I'm just waiting for the Korean hot pot barbecue.
Yeah. A space right around the corner.
Yep.
I was asked, what should we do with it?
Right.
I literally said Korean hot pot. You're literally it's actually a little scary right now.
Yeah.
I can leave. But the two big concepts that I would say we have a want and a need for is one, something that's a casual Korean hot pot, Korean barbecue. And then also, I would say a Japanese Steakhouse, which is
that'll be opening this winter.
Opening, hopefully second or third quarter of 2024.
Okay.
And then the other one is Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Mediterranean is probably the one concept that really does fit our portfolio perfectly because, we have Northern Italian, which is very, bright and brunchy and we have, we have Latin American, which, we Mediterranean kind of falls right in that realm of all of our other restaurants.
But clearly distinct as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it would probably introduce a completely new customer, to that doesn't exist in the district because, that is a specific customer that we have an opportunity for.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the Swexon. What was the reasoning behind building that property?
Ultimately, it was to elevate and bring a conversion of luxury to Dallas. Ultimately, it's a traditional luxury concept. High, 134 rooms. The attention to detail to the hotel is unbelievable. The amount of time and energy and effort that is going in to elevate the service, elevate the luxury concept, of an experience that really doesn't exist here in Dallas, but it should, right? And it has so much European feel to it because there is a lot of family ties back to, obviously some of the family roots goes back to Europe. And then obviously with the deep Texas roots, it was a combination of how do we bring both, but how do we bring them both in a tradition?
So let me explain that. The founders of the company, one's from Switzerland, one's from here in Texas, hence Swexon, right? Yeah, exactly. So you're trying to bring that spirit of that hospitality from Europe here with the cool American in this.
Really, at the end of the day, it was just to elevate the overall level of experience.
Yeah.
And really to not, unfortunately today with a lot of the properties, a lot of the existing luxury hotels, Ritz, Rosewood, Four Seasons, they do get a little boxy.
Yeah.
Right? They're very corporate. They all have their brand standards. It's very rare that you see that many independent boutique hotels try to play in this field, because of, the level that you have to go to is very challenging.
Yeah.
And for us, we've ownership had a vision, and they really have executed that vision to the fullest extent. The feedback on the hotel has been remarkable, obviously, and the commitment to the brand, the commitment to, saying that we are not going to deteriorate our brand.
Yeah.
We are going to believe in the brand. We are going to stick with the brand. We are going to execute a level of experience and a level of high level service in this building. And it really, it's an experience that when I have people coming from all other markets, and I have experience in, LA, New York, Miami, Vegas, you name it. I've had numerous C-level executives from other companies come stay at the hotel, and they're blown away.
That's awesome.
The design intent that, the family is so well traveled all around the world. So you can feel bits and pieces of it through the entire building. And then every place in the building has a story to it.
Yeah.
And literally, I could take up this whole podcast. I could take up this whole...
Please do that. I don't talk as much.
I could take up this whole time with Lily of how the front desk was designed and what the inspiration was. How Isabel's was designed, how Naboo's was designed, how Stillwell Steakhouse was designed, how Leone's came to fruition, how literally I could walk around the whole building and literally tell you how each piece came designed. Each part of the building has a story, but the crazy part is that actually exists for this entire district.
Dude, that was going to be my exact segue as well.
It literally exists in the entire district. And I guess that's what comes along with the benefit of working with a tight-knit group. And, when you have personal contact with the decision makers and the visionaries, it's amazing. It's amazing the stories that can be told.
Right. And the ability to get from ideation to opening is probably much shorter because you have control over this whole area. The thing that really strikes me about this whole thing is I love the idea of tapping into the consumer mindset and the different personalities that they have. And then what you've done here is you've worked hard to, no matter what mood they're in, you're still going to capture that consumer dollar instead of letting them go elsewhere.
Yeah, and it really, the idea is how do we create memorable experiences among this 19 city blocks. You know, and a lot of it really starts from it started as the office buildings and how can we own the marketing of the ground floor of the building.
Right.
And really how it started, and now it's at a point where this is a premier dining entertainment district, you know, and completely destinational. I mean, literally, people plan their weddings here. I mean, we do over 50 plus weddings in the entire district. You know, we have our Marie Gabrielle Gardens, which is over 20 years old. And I mean, we literally do over 50 plus weddings here.
And I'm sure that the holiday parties will be.
December is one of our busiest months of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, our corporate holiday parties, our personal holiday, we've been able to identify which venues we have where you can have the best events.
Right.
We have so many celebrations in all of our restaurants that we literally have an offering for everyone.
Yeah, and that's I love that. Again, that's why I came down here and I wanted to talk to you about that. And not only that, but it seems like everything's a virtuous circle. One thing plays into the other, which plays into the other. Everything feeds each other, and literally, the family has a cattle ranch, and you're utilizing. You're utilizing like North Texas, Oklahoma, and you know that sort of thing. So they're actually providing product to all of these restaurants as well.
Yeah, we have our Harwood beef program, which is a high-end program, which came to us because we got to the point, obviously during COVID, when supply chains issues started to come up and the pricing started to raise on beef, and so we said, okay, well, let's control the narrative, right? If we have the ability, right, and so obviously we have an amazing culinary team. You know, our vice president of culinary, you know, Chef Taylor. You know, he is homegrown here in the state of Texas, and he's very big about, you know, he was very big about this whole cattle program, and there's a real business plan behind it. But the nice part is you get to control your narrative and you get to control your pricing, so you can still offer the highest level of product, you know, while not running out and not having shortages because, you know. You're we're our number one.
Yeah, I love that. So I think of beef, and I can't help but think of barbecue and beef in Texas altogether. Why no barbecue restaurant is part of your brands? Is it because there's so many around?
I'm going to say that once again. There you go, reading.
No, yeah, yes.
You might have something going on.
No, because I just love food, man.
It is on the docket.
Yeah.
But once again, you know, that story of, okay, right location.
Yeah.
Right location, right concept,
right?
You know, cannibalistic, you know, but barbecue is one of those destinational that we feel very confident we can be very successful with.
Yeah.
So I would say,
okay,
I would say that's definitely
on the horizon.
It could be on the horizon.
Yeah. So when you're looking at a blank space, right? How do you decide what kind of concept's going to go in there, and what's the energy going to be in this situation? What's that process like?
So it's.
I mean, I feel like sometimes the space tells you what it wants to be in a circumstance like this.
No, more like the ownership.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's a combination. Yeah. It's a group of people collaboratively and really just saying, okay, we have this space. This is the tenant. This is the tenants that are going to be in this building, right? These are the concepts we have. What are we missing? Yeah. Right. And okay, what's the business plan behind it? Right. I mean, so we just opened up our Tex-Mex Cantina on the Katy Trail. You know, the Katy Trail Cantina Katy Trail is one of the most visited trails in the state of Texas. You know, we're literally, so we sat in a room. We literally built a 4,000 square foot indoor, 8,000 square foot outdoor, 350-seat Tex-Mex Cantina in a parking.
Right.
Well, let's just make things hard for ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's not like we're our own developer. I couldn't find a better space. Right. But because of the visibility of the Katy Trail, right, we were like, okay, well, we'll take the fact that we have to build into a parking garage. Yeah. Because of the visibility, it's a walking billboard. Why not? Yeah. And look, there's some challenges, but at the end of the day, the ability to take spaces that people would not think in a million years to turn it into a restaurant and really turn them into revenue generating concepts that help build the overall picture. That's what this company's vision really is how to create memorable experiences throughout this entire 19 city block.
So at some point, you're going to have as many concepts as you possibly can in these 19 city blocks. So I guess that you're going to have to figure out where else you can take this division of the company, right?
That's the great part about hospitality.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have so many successful concepts and so many niche concepts that so many of them can travel on the road.
And I'm thinking now that you got the first hotel under your belt, then all of that can kind of do wherever you need to go.
That saying, once you get that proof of concept, that's really all you need, right? We have 14 of them. And we have a number of concepts that can stand on their own and be extremely successful, and they tell a great story. And the interior design, we do our own interior design, we do our own development, so we control a lot of that narrative, which makes it very easy for us to travel.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've already created our own brand standards, for all concepts. Each concept has its own brand book. Each concept has its own service guidelines, obviously, but they all fall into one Harwood Hospitality circular story.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So here's the book, right? Any concept can travel. It's just now it's okay. Let's put the real strategy once we've developed this Harwood Hospitality, this Harwood district, and then say, okay, which concepts do we go out with first, and where do you go? Which obviously you can't be in many better states in the state of Texas.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm from New York, so I might have to fight you on that one.
Fortunately, I read an article the other day that wasn't very good. Did not make New York sound very bullish.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
It was funny. They actually had 4 states that they couldn't talk. They couldn't stop talking about where go here, right? Yeah. Obviously Nashville, Tennessee is on there.
It's insane, Nashville.
Dallas, Texas was on there. There were I can't remember the other 2, but there were like 4 cities, but all obviously high volume, growing cities.
Yeah.
Then in the background they said, okay, well, here's New York, here's California, here's once again.
Yeah, but places like Asheville, North Carolina are taking off.
Florida. I mean, look at the state of Florida, right?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to do anything in the state of Florida anymore.
Well, I found myself stuck in traffic this past week in Florida and around a lot of construction because it's expanding. It's expanding so much.
Coming from someone that worked on numerous projects right in the state of Florida, the Hard Rock International.
Yep.
Right. I had the pleasure of working on the Guitar Hotel.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it was a great project. But when you see like that areas blow up like that, I mean, it's crazy where you see there's some parts of the country that are just growing and growing and growing. I mean, once again, and Dallas is crazy because the DFW area having, I think it's 8 million people in the DFW area.
Wow.
I mean, that's more than, I think, 40 states.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so when you think about just when you think about the volume that exists in a 30-mile radius, a 45-mile radius, and not only that, but it's one of the most activated cities from an entertainment standpoint. There's already discussion about ending up eventually having a second NFL team.
Really?
Obviously it's a huge sports city in regards to, basketball, baseball, football. You pick any day of the week.
Cricket?
Cricket.
All right.
Little social entertainment cricket. Not a professional cricket team yet. But Mark Cuban.
Soon.
I mean, I think Mark Cuban does own a pickleball company.
Oh, seriously, that pickleball stuff is unbelievable.
It's blowing up like there's no tomorrow.
I know. And I'm seeing all these hotels and resorts right now converting tennis courts into pickleball courts.
Well, it's funny you say that. Well, us being in the, commercial real estate business, right? We definitely have space that we've entertained the idea of, because we're in the amenitizing business, right? The more amenities we have in our buildings, the more interest we get from, high profile tenants. And that's true. And really at the end of the day, that's what the name of the game is, right? We are a real estate development company first. And that's where I think I've really fit in really well with this company, because I come from that resort integrated background where I understand that all the departments in a resort have to be synergized together, but it's ultimately for the goal of success for the overall entity.
Yeah. And another important goal, though, in order to get to that success, having a great team behind you, and with all of these different concepts, you land one or two, you might lose great talent to other places. It seems like you're really set to be able to build careers from within.
Well, not only building from within, but also, the story is an easy one to be told.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate that I've been able to tell this story to people from all the major markets around the country. And all you got to do is get them here, right? The minute I walk someone through the district tour, it's the negotiating is pretty easy at that point.
Yeah, right.
The place sells itself.
Yeah.
When you look at our 14 commercial high rises, when you look at our restaurants, when you see the crowds that we produce and the volume and the product that we put out, that recruits all in itself. So we really have been very fortunate that the district recruits itself.
Yeah.
So it's a great story.
Yeah, it really is. And, I'm so happy I got a chance to be here with you today. Am I missing anything about this whole experience?
I would tell you that, it's great to have the story told.
Yeah.
Because, we're actually on La Rue Perdue, which I believe means hidden street. So, I do feel sometimes this story is a little hidden from the rest of the world. Right. This is a story that should be told all over the world about the Harwood district, because you won't, I actually brought this up the other day, you won't find many hospitality groups in the country. Obviously, Las Vegas being a different story, because you can go into one casino and put 5 concepts in. And
that hardly counts. Yeah.
But if you look at any other place around the country, it's very rare you'll see one hospitality group take on this many concepts in such a short geographical wingspan.
I'd never heard of it before, which is what really intrigued me to want to come down here and talk to you personally and learn more about it. This was a great conversation.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Hey, how can we learn more about you guys?
Huh?
Give yourself a plug. Give the company a plug.
Well, obviously, please learn more about Harwood Hospitality at harwoodhospitality.com. And
beautiful.
I'm not good about plugging myself.
All right, I'll plug in Harwood Hospitality. Come on down, stay at the hotel, eat at all these different restaurants. You can knock out 3-4 a day. If you're like me, I can knock out 10 in a day. Just eat. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Matt. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.